So they all drowned. Okay. Just because you did something once doesn't mean that it will work again. And part of that is the joy of the experience of listening to the Lord and just allowing yourself to be in awe of how the Lord works things out miraculously, supernaturally, and in a way where only He can get the glory for the things that are being done. Be inspired by the Lord's ways and also be reminded of the power that you have as his servant and as a follower of Christ. Because as his children, we possess so much power, we have so much wisdom, and we have access to like the ultimate treasure map in how we can live a life with abundance, understanding, wisdom, and all of the other fruits of the Spirit that are required to help us navigate life differently and not according to the world's standards, but with a peace that only Christ can provide. Okay. But I digress. I'm going to read what happened in Exodus when Moses put his arms up a second time. Exodus 14, starting from verse 18. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord when I gain glory through Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen. Then the angel of the Lord, who had been traveling in front of Israel's army, withdrew and went behind them. The pillar of cloud also moved from in front and stood behind them, coming between the armies of Egypt and Israel. Throughout the night, the cloud brought darkness to the one side and light to the other side. So neither went near the other all night long. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned it into dry land. The waters were divided, and the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. The Egyptians pursued them, and all Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen followed them into the sea. During the last watch of the night, the Lord looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud at the Egyptian army and threw it into confusion. He jammed the wheels of their chariots so that they had difficulty driving, and the Egyptians said, "Let's get away from the Israelites. The Lord is fighting for them against Egypt." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea so the waters may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen." Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and at daybreak, the sea went back to its place. The Egyptians were fleeing toward it, and the Lord swept them into the sea. The water flowed back and covered the chariots and horsemen, the entire army of Pharaoh that had followed the Israelites into the sea. Not one of them survived.